So now I'm going to start establishing my style lines because I have, my neckline in place. So I just have my sketch reference right here. And again, I determined that, oh, these style lines go right into underarm point. So they also angle down towards, center front as well. So I just took my ruler and I placed it at underarm point and I just followed it into center front. And I also made sure that it went through my dart tip because as you can see in my sketch, there is no dart. So I need to deal with that and actually transfer this dart fullness into the style line. So those are some things that you also need to determine because all slopers do have darts in them. So if they're not in your design, you need to figure out where you're going to move them or convert them into because as you know, in sewing, we do need darts because they're, they make the garment actually fit to our body. So in this one, I just took my ruler and angled it down towards center front and went through the dart tip. And what I also did at this point is I measured up from underarm point to my neckline at armhole. And so I'm going to save this measurement because this measurement needs to be the same on the sleeve as well as the back. So I just measured that now and I put that measurement aside. So when I start working on the back and the sleeve, I have that handy so I know where to place my style line at armhole. And if, this style line was on the back as well, I would measure up from center front just to keep everything consistent and the same measurement, but it's not, so we don't need to worry about measuring the location of this style line. And so now I'm going to actually start transferring this dart into this, into this bottom panel. So what I've done is I've placed another piece of tracing paper over top of my master pattern and I've traced down one dart leg and my style line down center front and waistline. And so I'm going to rotate this dart into this location so I can start, separating these top and bottom pieces. And then I just shifted, the dart so it's closed. And yeah, so you just take whatever, I'll go back so you can sort of see. So I just, just move my top piece of paper and I usually just put my pen tip on the dart tip and just rotate it so it's closed. And then what I do is I trace around the rest of the piece. I moved my dart before I established the rest of my style line because I wanted it in the center of my new dart. So that's why I rotated my dart first. And then you would just trace around the rest of the pattern with your new neckline. And then what I did is I folded my dart in half so I could get that middle line that extended, up into the armhole. So I just continued that line right here. And then I have my new front pieces. So I placed another piece of tracing paper over top and traced out just my bottom portion to my one dart leg and along waistline, and then my top one along waistline. So I'm accommodating that, dart fullness in this diagonal seam. And then sometimes when pattern drafting, actually a lot of the times, you'll get these sort of jagged points in where you rotate and move darts. So you need to smooth those. With your rulers. This is called truing the pattern. It's, after you make all your alterations, you're just making sure that the pattern is blended and smooth. So you just take your curve, I used my hip curve here, and just, blended these sharp points and where, the dart tip was. And then, again, you need to add your seam allowance to whatever, style lines you put in your pattern.